If you're having problems with the internet, you might need to power cycle the router. Sometimes we call that restarting the router. To restart the router, simply unplug the power cable going into the router. Wait about 30 seconds to 1 minute before plugging that back in. Wait for the router to reboot, and then test your internet connection.
Alright, so what I did was I put some insulation on this box here to see if it worked, and it didn't work. The equipment here, this is a wireless router with a cable modem. It gets really hot, and the hot air just stays in here, and after it goes over 5 degrees, 110 degrees, it stops working. So again, I installed this insulation, didn't do anything. So I ended up buying these dual USB fans, and you can see I have it plugged it in right there to the back of the, so it's right there to the back of the wireless router, and it's supplying power to these fans, and this is helping tremendously. So now this is taking all the air and pulling that hot air out to the fans. So here we can get a better look at the thermal trigger USB controller here. You can see on one side there's a USB connector, and that's for the load side, and then on the other side, that little hole right there is for the temperature probe. This will only give power, or only submit power to the load side at whatever threshold you have. So once it reaches, let's say 88 degrees, if that's your temperature threshold, it will go ahead and supply power to these USB fans that I have here. So you can see this USB connector, that's a load side, that would connect to these USB fans, and depending on the temperature that it reaches, if it reached 88, or if you had the threshold at 92, once it's 92 inside this cabinet here, it would go ahead and supply power to the fans. Instead of having the fans running 24/7 to cool down this cabinet here, what it would do is it would do so based on the temperature threshold that you have set up with this. So now on this cabinet here, once the temperature reaches 88 degrees, theoretically this should go ahead and send power to the load side, which then powers the fans. And that's how I'm going to keep this cool automatically without these fans running 24/7, which I didn't want to do. And you can see now that I'm supplying power to the fans. This is the load side where I plugged it in.
As exploits are monitored and patched, and as new features are added to MikroTik's firmware, you can easily update your MikroTik router with just a couple of mouse clicks in WebFig. And you can see what I've got here is WebFig. I'm going to click on Quick Set and then scroll down here to check for updates. Could it be that simple? And you can see I'm running 6.4 2.12 stable. You can change the branch if you want, or the channel, but I want to get the stable 6.47, and if you look below, you can see the change logs for that and everything that this is going to give me. So just click download and install, and look at this. Nothing to it. It grabs the file off of their server, downloads it, reboots. So now my router is rebooting. And look at that, 6.47 stable is the version I'm now running. Click on check for updates and you'll see I'm running that version, and system is already up to date. That is all there is to it. So your MikroTik router is now running the latest and greatest firmware.